Chapter 1. My name is Smith. I am from Bangladesh and we live in Dhaka. My father owns a business and earns good money. We are considered among the wealthy people of the city. I have just finished my 12th grade exams and decided to spend my holidays at my uncle's house. My uncle lives in a village that is several kilometers away from Dhaka. I travel by train, and the journey is quite pleasant. It has been many years since I last visited the village, and everyone is very happy to see me. I rest for a while, and the travel fatigue goes away. Then I head out to explore the village. The village has changed a lot. Even the amenities of the city are now available there. I have a great day, and the next morning I go to the orchard, which belongs to my uncle. There I meet a girl. I see her and she looks at me. She asks, "Do you need anything?" I reply, "No, I don't need anything." She says, "Then why are you standing here? Go do your work." I leave, but my heart stays there. All night I think about her. Morning comes and I have breakfast and head to the orchard again, waiting anxiously to see her. From a distance I spot her coming. She's with my uncle's daughter. I feel happy. They get closer, and my cousin introduces her, saying, "Ruby, this is my cousin from Dhaka. His name is Smith. You met him yesterday." In my heart, I think, so her name is Ruby. Such a lovely name. My cousin asks, "When did you meet him?" Ruby replies, "I saw him yesterday." Then they both leave, and I keep watching her as she walks away. At night, I ask my cousin for more information about her. My cousin tells me Ruby comes from a good and educated family. Chapter 2. I meet Ruby every day now. She is starting to get to know me. We meet in the orchard daily and talk for hours. One day, I propose to her for marriage. Ruby says, "I will think about it and give you an answer." A few days later, Ruby says yes. I am overjoyed and start liking her even more. She also genuinely likes me. After spending some more days there, I returned to Dhaka. I had given her my number, and we talk on the phone almost every day. I was eager to get married and wanted to marry Ruby as soon as possible. I talked to my family, and after a few days, they left for the village to discuss the proposal. Ruby's family liked the proposal. Her father said, "We will come to your house in a few days to meet your son. If we like him, we will accept the match." Just a few days later, Ruby's parents came to our house. Things were going well, but my mother and Ruby's mother had an argument over something. My mother has a short temper. Both of them said hurtful things to each other. Ruby's family left, saying, "We don't want to form any relations with you." Chapter 3. All the beautiful dreams we had for our lives were shattered. Our families became our enemies. I called Ruby. She was very sad and upset. I comforted her and gave her courage, saying, "Don't worry, Ruby. Everything will be all right. We must not lose hope. Do you understand me? I will come to see you." Ruby asked me, "When will you come to meet me?" "I will be waiting for you." I replied, "I will come very soon. Don't worry. Take care of yourself." We talked for a little while longer, and then I hung up the phone. A few days passed, and I went to the village to meet Ruby. She came to see me in the orchard. I was eager to see her. We talked for a while. Time passed, but our conversation seemed endless. Suddenly, Ruby's cousin saw us. He went straight to our house and told her family everything. Ruby's mother called her. Trembling, Ruby answered the phone. Her mother demanded, "Where are you, Ruby? Tell me the truth." Ruby replied, "I'm at the park with a friend." Her mother shouted, "Are you with a friend or with your boyfriend?" Ruby replied, "I'll come home, Mom. Don't worry." Her mother yelled, "There's no need to come home. Stay with whoever you're sitting with in the park. I warned you, and you promised not to meet him. Why did you go to see him? Does he love you more than I do? I'm your mother. You didn't listen to me. Don't ever come home now. I won't let you stay here anymore." Ruby started crying as her mother hung up the phone. I tried to comfort Ruby, saying, "Why are you crying? I'm here, aren't I? I will always be with you. Don't worry. If you agree, we can have a court marriage. In this situation, you can't go home. Your mother has already told you that she won't accept you." Ruby was terrified. After thinking for a while, she said, "All right, I agree to a court marriage. Promise me you will never leave me." I told her, "I promise I will stay with you. I will never leave you alone." Chapter 4. We ran away from the village and came to Dhaka. I took Ruby to my house and explained everything to my family. They listened carefully. My father said, "Now that you've run away, it's better if you both get married. I'll handle the rest." My mother didn't want us to get married, but I convinced her. We went to the court and got married. Only a few close people attended our wedding. I was very happy. I had finally won my love. However, Ruby wasn't as happy. Her family hadn't called yet, and she was very worried. I tried to comfort her. We were sitting in the bedroom, and the room was filled with silence. I asked Ruby, "What are you thinking about?" Ruby replied, "I'm thinking about my family. I'm sad for my mother. I didn't treat her well. My family hasn't reacted yet." I suggested, "Let's go out and take a walk. We're getting bored sitting at home." So we went to the cinema, watched a movie, ate ice cream, and had dinner at a nice restaurant. We had a great time together. Days passed. Ruby didn't know how to do household chores, and this led to daily arguments with my mother. Every time I came home from the office, I found Ruby crying. I asked her what was wrong, and she replied, "Your mother taunts me every day. How is it my fault if I don't know how to cook? I've never been to the kitchen before. I'm not interested in cooking." I comforted her and said, "Stop crying. I'll bring something from the hotel." Chapter 5. I kept watching silently. My mother was treating Ruby very unfairly. She would humiliate her over every little thing and constantly taunt her. She deeply disliked Ruby and was only tolerating her for my sake. One day, I decided to talk to my mother about it. She responded, "You're fighting with me for that girl? Is she more important to you than your own mother?" I said, "Mom, please don't twist things. I'm just asking you to be kind to Ruby. If you speak to her with love, she will live here like your daughter and listen to everything you say." I didn't say anything more and quietly went back to my room. One day, my mother made Ruby do all the household chores, and Ruby became seriously ill with a high fever. She was very sick. I took her to the doctor. The doctor asked, "Is this your wife?" I replied, "Yes, she is." The doctor looked disappointed and said, "I'm surprised. You're well educated, yet your wife is sick and you're still making her work." He scolded me harshly, prescribed some medicine, and we returned home. When we got back, my mother was waiting for us. She was furious. She said to me, "Son, today you have to make a decision. If you love me, then leave Ruby. But if you love Ruby, I will leave this house forever. You need to choose your mother or your wife." I was extremely stressed. I went to my room and started breaking things in frustration. I spent the entire night awake, thinking. By morning, I had made up my mind. I told Ruby, "Ruby, you should go back to your home. I've decided to leave you. I can't handle this constant fighting." Ruby started crying loudly and asked, "If you were going to leave me, why did you marry me? Why did you make false promises to me? Tell me." I said, "I understand now, Ruby. People who marry against their parents' wishes are never truly happy. I'll take you to the station." Ruby, heartbroken, said, "I left everything for you, and now you're leaving me." I replied, "I'm sorry, Ruby. I can't keep hurting you. You'll find a better man than me." We headed to the station. Chapter 6. I started thinking to myself, what must Ruby be thinking about me? The person who promised to live with her forever is leaving her today. The one who said, "I can't live without you, my heart beats only for you," is now saying such things to me. Ruby was deeply heartbroken and wasn't speaking to me at all. We arrived at the station and it was crowded. I told Ruby, "You sit here, I'll go get the tickets." I went to the ticket counter and bought 2 tickets. Just then, the sound of the arriving train echoed through the station, and the crowd began to grow. I moved towards the crowded area and asked a man, "Brother, what's going on here? Why is there so much rush?" The man replied, "A girl threw herself under the train and ended her life." Panic surged through me as I quickly rushed back to where Ruby was sitting, but she wasn't there. My heart started racing and I began to sweat. I ran towards the accident site. The girl who had taken her life was Ruby. I sat down next to Ruby's lifeless body, crying like a madman. Her body had been torn into 2 pieces. I held those pieces close to my chest, sobbing uncontrollably. People around me looked at me with pity in their eyes. If only I hadn't made the decision to leave Ruby, she would be alive today. She would be with me. What will I do now without her? I was planning to leave her, but instead, Ruby left me forever, leaving me completely alone. How will I live without her now? Because of one decision, the lives of 2 families were destroyed.